I'm Z Wade, and I'm on a mission to test every single Nikon branded Z mount lens. And today we've got the Nikkor Z DX 24mm f1.7. The Nikkor Z DX 24mm f1.7, DX meaning for use on crop sensor cameras, giving it a 36mm full frame equivalent, is a lightweight 135 gram or 4.8 ounce, compact 40mm or 1.6 inches long, inexpensive fast aperture prime lens released in June of 2023 for a suggested retail price of $279.95. It has an unusual f1.7 to f11 aperture range and 7 rounded aperture blades. It is suggested that it is a dust and drip resistant design, and it has a closest focus distance of 4.7 inches. It uses Nikon's STM, that's the stepping motor, supposedly making it a good choice for video, claiming it's more quiet. Its construction consists of 9 elements in 8 groups, including 2 aspherical elements, and has no coatings listed on Nikon's website. So that actually makes me wonder how it can be like dust and drip resistance, because those coatings on the front, they generally assist in like keeping your hand oils and stuff off, and it lets water roll off easy. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't design this lens, but I'm fairly certain that all Nikon lenses at least get Nikon Super Integrated Coating. It does some very basic things that help Nikon lenses do what you expect Nikon lenses to do as far as image quality goes. So in the field, I am leaving the front filters on, but I do want to take it off for now. It is super tiny. This is, I mean, basically like the 28mm full frame lens or the 40mm full frame lens. It weighs absolutely nothing, and oh joy, we get a plastic lens mount. Nikon, just use metal lens mounts from now on. Nobody is saying, oh, thank goodness I could save a little money because it's a plastic lens mount. No, the people that are generally buying this are either hardcore DX users or they're probably maybe beginners. They're not even going to pay attention to the mount anyway, and that's no reason to give them plastic. This is scary. This is going to be a lot more likely to shave off right by your sensor, which you are adamant about having that much room between, you know, Nikon, oh, the shortest flange distance, meaning that plastic shavings are like right on your sensor. And God forbid you have a mechanical shutter and a piece gets in there and God knows what happens. It can't be that expensive, and regardless of what the price is, we'll pay for it. No more plastic lens mounts. No more plastic lens mounts. The front element is absolutely itty bitty. And it's really hard to determine whether it feels cheaply made or not, just because there's like no material here to give it any weight. To give you an idea of how small it is, if this were to collapse in on itself into a singularity, therefore becoming a black hole, it would probably be smaller than a grain of sand. If that helps you kind of figure out what I'm talking about by saying that it's small. Let's see how this feels on the good old Nikon Z5. Now I understand the Nikon Z5 is a full frame camera. It's not well balanced because the lens weighs absolutely nothing, and so it does have some tilt back. But while you're actually holding it, you basically can't feel that there is anything even on the camera. It's super, super lightweight. Now, it's time to go out into the field and take some test shots. All right, so I'm out here with the Nikkor Z DX 24mm f1.7. Now, for all of these tests that you'll be seeing, I wanted some consistency, so they will all be done on the Nikon Z8 or Z9. I understand with DX lenses, it'll automatically crop in to make all things right, but you do throw away some of your megapixels when you do that. I don't care. Also, I have to mention that these lenses don't belong to me. They actually belong to Lens Rentals, formerly Borrow Lenses, and they come with a clear filter on the front. Now, I don't like using filters at all. I don't like adding glass on top of glass, but I don't own these. I don't want to damage them. And so if you want to say reduction in sharpness or color or contrast, whatever, that's fine. I'd buy that, but I'm not going to tear these lenses up because they're not mine. Okay, first things first, we need to do the autofocus test. And so we do that on video. Let's throw it all the way out of focus. I'd say a moderate speed. It kind of reminds me of the 35mm f1.8s, but I think this is actually a little faster. The 35 to me was notoriously slow. All right, focus noise. Let's see. There is some whirring. Real light. Voot, voot, voot. It's not obnoxious. I can't hear it from about that far away. Our next order of business is focus distance test. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the place where I typically check black and white ability, and that's where we're gonna do our focus distance test. Yeah, I've actually been checking it on this flange right here. So let's see. Let's go for f1.7. About right there. Now this comes out to be 36 millimeters, 24 times 1.5, and that's would be pretty good for like some cool shots. If you wanted to do some wider angle up close shots, that's pretty good, I think. Test it one more time. Take a little shot of that. All right, now we need to get our saturation. I'm gonna fire off a shot across the yard for the green. We'll go kind of up this direction for the blue, and then we'll shoot the lens case from lensrentals.com for the yellow, and then we'll go over to this lantern over here for the red. Not super saturated on the blues. What do I mean by it doesn't look super saturated? So there's a few lenses in the Nikon Z lineup where they just look different through the viewfinder. So the 51.2, the 85.1.2, even the Plena, the 135 Plena, they look different. Even when you're on a neutral profile, as I am, or even standard profile, you know, the less saturated profiles, you can just tell that they're different. The 20 millimeter is the perfect example for that because it is super saturated. These are basically raw images that I see through the viewfinder. Get this black and white ability test going on here. All right, now we can do the yellows. The yellows look pretty saturated. There's a little lantern up here. That's the one that we got to do. Yeah, it's this thing. All right, now we need to do a sharpness test. And we've been doing that on this tray right here. Got a little patch of light that comes in right here. 1.7, 2, f2.8, 3.5, f4, 5.6, 6.3, 7.1, and we're probably in diffraction by then. I have no idea what happened to a couple of my saturation photos, but no need to worry because we will have plenty of them in the walk around. As I predicted, the yellow saturation is really strong. The red saturation just seems a little normal. Check out the sharpness at f1.7. We've got a little bit of softness. f2 tightens up a little bit. 2.8's looking okay. 3.5's looking okay. Looking about the same at f4. 5.6 looks just okay. 6.3 looks just okay. 7.1 looks about the same, so I imagine after this, diffraction would start to kick in. So on sharpness, I suppose it just looks okay sharp. And at f2.8, I still agree that it's just okay. Let's do our black and white ability test here. And I think it's just kind of okay in black and white from what I can tell here. Right in the middle of the road. Let's see if we see any fringing. I see some purple fringing at f1.7, only in the most extreme of brightnesses. A very tiny amount of green fringing that I had to get in at 300% to see. Not too bad on the fringing, not too bad. As far as contrast goes, it seems pretty good on the contrast. Now, if you'll excuse me one moment, I'm gonna go do a little walk around with this lens. That'll give you just enough time to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, or consider becoming a member if you want to get all of my stuff early as well as member-only content. I'm back. Let's check out these images. We shot this at f2.8. So in these out of focus areas, we are seeing some fringing. We're probably real close to minimum focus, which doesn't help. It's a pretty cool looking image though. I like the backgrounds. These are the images that I thought looked really pretty on the back screen. And it definitely is a pretty lens. This bokeh ball here is a little hexagonal. Ooh, if I put my preset blue mood portrait on there, it's very cool. It's not exceedingly sharp, but it's got a nice kind of look to it. Ooh, I like it. Now we can see that the blue saturation is indeed good. This is what I like. It's not overly saturated. It's not JPEG-y blue. Let's give this one a quick play. All right, I see you 2417. The reds look pretty good on this. The greens look pretty good on this. Ooh, habanero looks really cool. Decent sharpness. Just decent sharpness. We got one at f1.7. I think this lens at wide open apertures kind of behaves like wide open apertures used to in like f-mount. It's not exceedingly sharp. It's just kind of sharp enough at f1.8. I think I like Gravedigger on this. That doesn't even need much. I think that's already cool. Yeah, at f1.7, it's just okay sharp again. Let's give this one a little love. Again, I think the most you're going to get out of this at f1.7 is just okay sharp. It's about what I would expect out of a lens so inexpensive. But there is just an overall quality to this that I can't... Not like quality like, oh my gosh, it's super high quality. A quality is in just like a kind of a beauty to it. It's just kind of pretty, you know what I mean? Maybe let's not care about color so much and try some more of these. Oh, that's super cool. We'll just go with that one. My preset back alley blue is good enough. Invert that. Give it a little brightness. Nice, nice, nice. There we go. Moody Brown is already a winner. It doesn't look like the bokeh. First of all, the backgrounds are pleasing to me. And then the bokeh balls don't seem like they warp that much way out at the edge. There's, of course, some cat's eye, but it's pretty mild. Pretty mild on this shot, anyway. So we got here. Seeing some fringing in the out of focus bright areas. What's going through my head right now is it's not technically that awesome. It's technically exactly what you would expect out of the price that this is, but there is still just something that's kind of nice about it. Ooh, Fuji Paris is pretty cool. I might just leave that the way it is. Maybe do something black and white on this one. Matte punch, subtle matte. Gravedigger always looks cool. We'll go with Gravedigger, just give it some more contrast. Nice. Looks spooky. See some really goofy fringing on this one. This is kind of at closer focusing distances. In the out of focus area, well, pretty much the whole thing. It's just not particularly sharp when you get this close. It's cool though. Ooh, Orange Moody is pretty good. Peachy Portraits is pretty good. Ooh, Subtle Green is actually working. I kind of like Habanero on this one. Actually, I think Peachy Portraits is the winner for me. Let me slap a radial on here to verify that I think it's awesome. I do. I like the subtle matte on this one. It gives it a little moodiness, a little attitude. It just kind of works with the softness that this lens is giving me at this kind of close focus. Let's hit it with the repeat. We have a good representation of this lens's saturation. Right here. Boom, 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 boom. So what's on my mind for this lens at this point is its strong suits is probably color. Contrast is better than okay. Sharpness is okay. Color is very good. Black and white ability is just okay. Not a ton of micro contrast. I'm also thinking at this very moment that if you're a DX user, I think it's really worth having this lens. Because if anything, it was fun to shoot. It's good enough in image quality. Definitely fun to shoot. Even though it's not technically an absolute success on every front, there is a niceness to the images, kind of like a prettiness. It looks okay as long as you're not like zooming in, because you'll see that it's not exceedingly sharp. Got some very strange fringing around the edge of those water droplets. Wow, that's actually kind of noticeable from back here too. Almost, yeah, I'm gonna do that one in black and white so we don't have to look at that fringing. I love these kind of shots. Very cool. Love this kind of stuff. Just shadows and shapes. It's so easy to edit too. So now after looking at all these images, what I'm thinking is sharp enough, good contrast, good color. As far as the fringing control, about what you would expect from a lens this price. And then that thought that is sticking around in my head that there's just a prettiness to the lens. And I guess my final thought is it was fun to shoot. I enjoyed walking around with this lens. I think it's just because it's so small, it fits into every space. It weighs like nothing. It's easy to just kind of flop around and stick somewhere at a low angle. It was just fun to shoot. In conclusion, I was very impressed with just how pretty the images are. Sharpness may be subjective to some people. Color saturation may be subjective to some people. But just in sheer look and coolness and just pretty, I found that some of the images that I got with this just had an inherent prettiness, right? And so I think that is absolutely fantastic. If you're a crop sensor user, I think this is a must-have. The 24 gives you a full frame equivalent of 36 millimeters. 35 is very, very standard. You can do a lot of things with it. I don't think there's any reason not to have this lens, especially since there's just not really a lot of fast DX lenses out there. Excellent job, Nikon. I think you did a really good job with this at a really inexpensive price. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade in Z Wade Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.